Help me to reach 2,000 subscribers. The laughter came first, too loud, too intimate. It cut through the music, through the murmured conversations and clinking glasses. When I turned, I saw my wife, Alina, standing by the punch bowl, her boss's hand resting on the small of her back. His thumb brushed against the fabric of her dress, lingering a second too long. She didn't flinch. She smiled. Something inside me snapped like a taut wire. The room blurred around them. The shimmer of sequin dresses, the low thrum of a bass-heavy song, the smell of wine and perfume mixing into something nauseating. My throat went dry as I watched the man lean close, whispering something that made her tilt her head back and laugh. A sound I hadn't heard from her in months. It was the annual firm's holiday party, held at a downtown hotel ballroom. Alina had begged me to come this year, saying her boss, Richard Cole, was dying to finally meet the mysterious husband. The way she said it, half joking, half rehearsed, already felt off. But I came anyway, thinking it would mean something to her. Now, watching her laugh at whatever joke he whispered, I wished I hadn't. I tried to look away, to tell myself I was overreacting. She was networking, that was all. It was just her personality. Warm, open, friendly. She always said she had to charm clients, to keep things light. But I couldn't ignore the way his hand stayed at her waist, possessive and easy. And when she finally noticed me watching, she froze for a fraction of a second before forcing a bright smile. "Hey, babe," she said when I walked over. Her voice wavered, almost imperceptibly. "This is Richard, my boss." Richard turned, offering a grin that dripped arrogance. "Ah, the famous husband," he said, extending his hand. His grip was firm, crushing even, and his eyes held mine longer than necessary. "You should be proud. Alina's one of our brightest stars." I forced a smile. "I am." But his hand didn't drop right away. He glanced at her again, the corner of his mouth twitching like he knew something I didn't. Then he laughed, a deep, knowing sound that curdled my stomach. I spent the rest of the night pretending I didn't see him brush past her just close enough that his fingers grazed her arm. Pretending I didn't notice the way her voice softened when she spoke to him. The subtle way her eyes sought his approval after every joke. Pretending I wasn't breaking apart inside. When we got home, the silence between us was thick and poisonous. She kicked off her heels and sat on the edge of the bed, scrolling through her phone. I stood by the doorway, my hands trembling slightly. "Did you have fun?" she asked without looking up. "Yeah," I said. "You and Richard seem close." She paused, then exhaled through her nose. "Don't start, Daniel. He's my boss. It's called being professional." "Professional," I echoed. "He had his hand on you the entire night." She finally looked at me, eyes flashing with irritation. "You're being paranoid." Maybe I was, or maybe I wasn't. But I couldn't shake the image of them laughing together, her smile reaching her eyes in a way it hadn't for me in months. I didn't sleep that night. Neither did she, judging by the faint glow from her phone long after midnight. Over the next few weeks, the signs grew harder to ignore. Late meetings, unexplained messages, new perfume, the faint scent of cologne that wasn't mine when she came home. I told myself to stop imagining things, that I was losing trust for no reason. But denial only stretches so far before it breaks. One Friday night, she said she had to stay late for a client dinner. I offered to pick her up afterward. She refused too quickly, so I drove downtown. The restaurant's windows were fogged from the warmth inside, but through the glass, I saw her, sitting across from Richard. Their hands brushed across the table, and she didn't pull away. Her expression, soft, nervous, almost tender, wasn't one I'd seen directed at me in a long time. I didn't storm in. I didn't shout. I just stood there in the freezing air, watching my wife smile like she'd forgotten the man she married even existed. When she came home later that night, I was waiting in the living room. "How was dinner?" I asked. She froze in the doorway, her purse dangling loosely from her hand. "Fine." "Why?" I nodded slowly. "Because I was there." Her face drained of color. "What do you mean you were there?" I saw you with him. For a long moment, she said nothing. Then, almost too quietly, she whispered, Daniel, it's not what you think. Then tell me what it is. Tears welled in her eyes. It just happened. I didn't plan it. Something inside me turned cold. You didn't plan to lie to me for months? She took a step toward me, trembling. I was lonely, okay? You've been distant, wrapped up in work, and Richard, he listened. He made me feel seen. I laughed, but it came out hollow. So you slept with him because he listened? Her tears fell freely now. I didn't mean for it to happen. It was just one night. Don't lie to me again, I said, my voice breaking. I saw the way you looked at him tonight. That wasn't guilt. That was love. She broke then, sobbing, collapsing into a chair, whispering that she was sorry over and over like the words could erase what she'd done. I should have shouted. I should have thrown her out. But instead, I just stood there, numb. Because the truth wasn't just that she'd betrayed me. It was that a part of me still loved her, even now. The next morning, she was gone when I woke. Her side of the closet was empty. She left a note on the counter. I'm so sorry. I can't face you. Weeks passed. The silence of the house became unbearable. Every room felt smaller, suffocating. Her laughter echoed in my head until I started hating the sound of my own thoughts. Then, one afternoon, I got a call from HR at her firm. Richard Cole had been fired. Apparently, there were complaints, multiple. Affairs with subordinates. Inappropriate conduct. Someone had leaked photos of him and Alina together to the company board. They thought it came from me. Didn't. I never found out who did it, but I didn't need to. Maybe karma had a better aim than I ever could. A month later, Alina showed up at my door. She looked thinner, older, eyes sunken with regret. I lost everything, she whispered. My job, my friends, him. I just wanted to tell you. I never stopped loving you. I stared at her for a long time before answering. I know, I said softly. That's what makes it worse. Then I closed the door. Behind it, I heard her sobbing. But I didn't open it again. Because sometimes love doesn't die with betrayal. It just turns into something colder. Something that remembers. Forever, the night laughter turned to silence.